What's going on, everybody? GoodMicWork commentaries back at you with another edition of the One-Off, and oh man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be such a delightful discussion. I figured I had no choice but to come up here with a quick video on our friend Brie Bella. Now, this is probably going to be hitting YouTube around Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, so this will probably be uploaded while SmackDown is actually on the air, but I figured I had to come up. There's so much going on social media and on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff about this situation that I figured I got to come up and say a few words about it, and that is what I created this one-off series for. This crazy-ass subject is tailor-made for this type of video, so I still plan on coming up here later in the week with some sort of an episode, but this should hold you over. So for those of you who have been sleeping under a rock for the past 24 hours, you may not know about what Brie Bella was up to on Monday Night Raw. She was involved in a 6-woman tag team match with her sister Nikki and Natalya taking on the Riot Squad. And I was up here last night doing my live stream as I normally am on Monday nights, but I was also talking to all of you. So I really wasn't paying that much attention to the match. I'm not sure if anybody noticed it. I didn't see anybody start freaking out in the chat. Holy shit, did you see the botch? We were all just kind of barely paying attention. So I didn't see any of this, or notice it at least, until after the show. And I started reading all the fallout on social media and on Twitter and all that. So I went back and took a look at it and actually watched it, and I'm like, oh dear, yeah, this is bad. So anyway, that's what I'm up here to talk about. And I've got a couple of things, you guys are going to, in typical GoodMicWork fashion, you're going to hear both sides of this. I'm going to acknowledge the serious problem that we have with Brie Bella in the ring, but I'm also going to give it to the fans a little bit because they're all acting like idiots. So you go back and watch the match, and there's a spot where she's in the ring with Liv Morgan doing the yes kicks. She's got a lot of practice doing these. Her husband kind of is good at the move. He's taught her a little bit, and she was in there giving them to Liv. Now, she catches Liv square in the face. I mean, with a straight kick to the mush, and nails Liv Morgan, and she kind of slumps down, but Brie doesn't stop kicking, and then she catches her a second time. And when you combine this with what she did a couple of weeks ago on Raw, not really injuring anybody but herself, with the two very dangerous suicide dives on the outside of the ring, a move she has no business doing, and both, count them, both times, she landed straight on her head. And a lot of fans were finding that more comical than anything else because nobody else was at danger except for her. She's the clumsy one. So now things have changed. Now she's got a victim. Now she's nailed somebody in the face. And there was also kind of like a third botch as well. It wasn't that bad, though. She got slingshotted into Ruby and caught her with a stiff forearm. No big deal. Stiff spots happen in every single match. So I'm not going to blame Brie for that. It looked like it pissed off Ruby, though. She kind of tagged her with a little receipt at the end there. But all in all, that was nothing. A little stiff forearm. Who gives a fuck? But this was a little bit more dangerous because Liv legit got knocked out. I mean, she was, she got her bell rung hard. And so when you get kicked once and then you get kicked a second time, that's when you've got to start worrying. But Liv, she's tough as nails. She finished the fucking match, even did that big 6-woman suplex spot. So I think that's why I didn't notice it, because she was still in there doing her thing. So the fans, naturally, are all up in arms about this for a couple of reasons. Now, on one hand, they've got a good point. Brie doesn't know what she's doing. I talked about it a lot in one of my podcasts a couple weeks ago when she did those first botches. And I was like, this is silly. You're not ready to get back in the ring. You're very rusty. You haven't been in the ring very often in a couple of years. You've been having babies. You've been doing reality shows. If you're going to put her in the ring again, fine. But make sure she's not making life dangerous for the other people that she's in there with. That seems like that's like textbook first page day one stuff right there. And it's not like Brie is completely incapable, but she's at least good enough to go in there and not kill anybody, you know what I mean? So now this is a couple of weeks in a row now where she's botching things, and now, the fans are just taking it to a whole new level. So yes, they're right that she's sloppy, but you guys got to stop freaking out like Liv Morgan is some sort of a victim. This isn't fucking ballet. This is wrestling. You should expect to get kicked in the face every now and then. A broken nose or missing teeth or a black eye is extremely likely in the ring, even if you're in there with somebody that really knows what they're doing. A couple of years ago, when Seth Rollins relocated John Cena's nose to the other side of his face, were people freaking out like this? No, and Seth's actually kind of had a reputation there for a little while of hurting some guys, with what happened to Sting and Finn Balor. So people were on Seth's case a little bit, but still, he's one of the more respected wrestlers that we currently have in the entire world. So the bottom line here is botches happen, but when it happens with somebody that's already on the IWC shit list, that's when things get out of control. Thousands of people online got their wrestler's license and are now qualified to train other wrestlers. Apparently, overnight, we have literally thousands of people that all know when somebody's dangerous and not dangerous, and they're all up in arms. And this is right off the heels of that stupid-ass "we want talent" hashtag, where everybody's mad about the pretty girls and the cheerleaders and the diva type of wrestlers getting the spots. Oh, Nikki and Brie are taking other people's spots and all this shit. So when you combine that whole thing going on with the two of these girls and others as well being on this shit list of the IWC, we're only a couple of weeks removed from Brie Bella falling on her head twice, and now this happens? Oh man, and the fans have come out in droves. All of a sudden, everybody now with a YouTube channel with 100 subscribers wants to go online and destroy Brie Bella. And that's the example that I make all the time when fans bitch about stuff. I probably say this every single time the fans are really up in arms about something. I was like, the problem with the fans is they take the little bit that's right about their criticism, the little bit of argument that's actually true, and then they bury it under a bunch of immature bullshit. To where you have people saying, Brie Bella should be fired. She's trash. WWE should just get rid of her. Really? I hate to break it to you, but Daniel Bryan's wife and the star of Total Divas and Bellas isn't getting fired for kicking somebody in the face. Give me a break. I think the fans always pretend to have the best interests of the business at heart, but trust me, they have anything but. They really don't care. What they care about is who they want to see and who they don't want to see. And they try to come off as baby faces who really care about the business when really they come off as whiny, entitled, smartass marks. And that's not good either. So, yes, for those of you who say Brie Bella doesn't know what the fuck she's doing in the ring, I got a newsflash for you. You're right. It appears that she does not. She is incredibly rusty, and when it gets to the point like it got last night on Raw, where you are now injuring other people, WWE really has to consider at least maybe keeping her out of the ring. She's not going to get fired, so get that out of your head. But they should maybe take her out of the ring or say, you know what? You got to go down to the Performance Center for a couple of weeks, polish yourself up a little bit, and then if you want to come back and wrestle on and off, we'll let you. But for the time being, you need to be in Nikki Bella's corner. You need to be in Daniel Bryan's corner. You can still be on TV. You can still be a personality. Hell, you can still do a run in and take some bumps if you want. But being in the ring and having a match where other people are putting their lives in your hands, maybe not a good idea right now. So that's how adults, I think, should look at this situation. But instead, you got a bunch of angry, fucking pent-up, frustrated weirdos all over the internet ready to behead this girl over a stiff kick to somebody's face. That's ridiculous. Botches happen all the time. Men and women, go look at our friend Matthew from Botchamania. He has unlimited content to choose from. Have you ever watched an independent match? Have you ever watched Impact? There's a lot of things you can see inside and outside of WWE with botches all over the place, which is why I'm pretty sure, now I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to ask you guys, take a look on Twitter. Look around on Twitter. I want to know, and I'm asking the actual answer here because I really don't have any idea. I want to know how many wrestlers. It doesn't have to be for WWE. Anywhere. Any wrestler around the world, whether they work for WWE or not, I want to know how many of them are ripping Brie apart on Twitter. I'll sit here and wait. Go, log on to Twitter right now. And please tweet me and tag me in any post from a wrestler that says Brie Bella is a piece of shit and needs to be fired. I want to see a wrestler say this. I want to see somebody that's been in the ring and taken bumps say this. And there might be some, there might be a couple, but I would imagine wrestlers understand that in the ring, botches happen. And why are they going to go online and completely criticize somebody when they are just as capable of doing the same thing the very next night? It's bad karma. Plus, as Hulk Hogan says, there's a brotherhood in wrestling where everybody's got each other's backs. So I would assume, even though I haven't read much of Twitter today, I would assume that not only Liv Morgan and anybody in WWE, but probably a lot of other wrestlers are kind of keeping their mouths shut about this. They understand that accidents happen. And yes, this is twice in a row now. Brie has literally botched shit in every match that she's had, which is why WWE should consider removing her from the ring, at least temporarily, make her train a little bit more, or just get her a little bit better prepared, I guess, is a better word. Because, I mean, if she's at home being a mom, you know, it's not like she's in the gym every day. So, you know, timing is off. And there's a lot of things that are off if you're just wrestling on TV every now and then, and you're not on the road. I'm assuming she's not on the road. Her and Nikki are not doing, you know, house show loops, are they? They might be. You know, if she's wrestling every night and she sucks this bad, then yeah, get her out of the ring completely. But at least for right now, I think the correct decision for WWE to make is don't put her in matches anymore. If you got to get through October, then fine. Just try to protect everybody as much as you can. They might have plans for her to do some sort of a turn with Nikki against Ronda Rousey, because we've heard the rumors of a Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey match at Evolution. And that's another thing that have got the fans' panties in a bunch, is this match up on the horizon between the two of them that's not even been confirmed yet. We haven't even had the heel turn yet, but fans are already pissed about it. Where I said, I'm like, what's the big deal? If you turn Nikki heel and she turns into that asshole, quote unquote, unworthy type of champion that the fans hate, kind of like how The Miz was in 2011, we all hated his fucking guts. And he was a cocky, arrogant son of a bitch, and everybody thought it should be anybody else getting an opportunity but him. So if you give Nikki Bella that kind of heat, I think that can work. That's what wrestling's about, getting the fans pissed off. And I even think now would be a great time to turn these girls heel. You know, this is what WWE should do. They should take this situation and make the best out of it. They should take this disaster that is Brie Bella, who they're trying to put over as a babyface, and she does that stupid Brie mode yell in every match that the fans literally give two rat turds about, and turn her heel. I mean, the fans now hate her guts. She's going to be booed every time she comes out to the ring now. Maybe not what she might be protected with Daniel Bryan on SmackDown, but if she ever shows up on Raw, if she comes out there next week, the fans are going to be shitting on her. So I think they should turn her heel. And Stephanie gets involved, and you've got an army of heels that Stephanie has recruited to help take the belt off of Ronda Rousey and give it to Nikki Bella, and then Nikki Bella can show up on Raw the next night acting like she beat Ronda all by herself. That's what a heel does. You know, so I think everybody should relax about Nikki Bella getting that. What's the big deal? Who cares? She's a heel that everybody's going to hate. Now, here's where it gets weird. Now, you'd be right about Nikki Bella shouldn't have this opportunity if they make Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey a babyface match, and they're trying to pass Nikki off as a credible contender to Ronda, and Nikki goes in there and beats her clean or something like that. Now, that, you're right. Fuck that. But I don't think WWE would ever in a million years even do that. So I think the fans are thinking that, oh, Nikki Bella's going to have a match with Ronda Rousey and beat her, and that's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. It's not believable. Well, yeah, it is believable if the scenario that I just laid out happens, where Stephanie has had this long-range plan of revenge in her mind ever since WrestleMania and since Ronda Rousey has ripped the arm out of her socket a couple of times. You would think that she's going to get her revenge at some point on Ronda Rousey. So if you tie in Stephanie and you tie in some heel turns and you tie in some interference, I really have no problem with Nikki Bella stealing the belt from Ronda Rousey. Who gives a fuck? And with the heat that her sister already has, and the fans really not being too crazy about Nikki either, because they can't wrestle and they're unworthy and all that shit, this is the best time to turn them heel. You know what WWE won't do with Roman Reigns, they should do with the Bellas. WWE's too stubborn with Roman. Oh, he's a babyface. We want him to be a babyface. We want him to be cheered. People ain't cheering the Bellas. People don't give a shit about the Bellas. So you might as well turn them heel and get some reactions out of them, because now, as heels, when they come down to the ring, especially if Nikki Bella is to win that title, imagine the boos on Monday Night Raw. Oh my God. Imagine if Nikki Bella opens up Raw right after Evolution with the title and cuts a promo. Oh my God, the heat's going to be amazing. So I'm really don't have a problem with any of that. I just have a problem with the fans going so over the top, and really at the end of the day, all they're doing is just saying who they like and who they don't like. You know, the wrestlers that they don't like don't deserve it and are unworthy and are not being used properly. That's another thing we hear every 5 fucking seconds. WWE's not pushing the right people. What the fuck are you talking about? Becky Lynch is your women's champion. She's feuding with Charlotte. You got Ronda Rousey, a legit badass, is holding your Raw title. I don't really see what the huge issue is. Oh, the women's division is a joke and they're going backwards and all this. Everything that everybody was complaining about last week, I was like, this is not new. Forget about the women. Fuck the women. This is all across WWE. Men's roster, women's roster has been going on for decades. From the minute the internet was invented, fans have been bitching about guys being pushed improperly and not being used right and the wrong people winning titles. Everybody is pissed all the time. And to act like now this is some new thing that 3 days ago, WWE started booking the women's division like shit. No, they've booked the women's division like shit ever since it started. You know why? Because they're WWE. That's what WWE does. We're lucky now that the women's division, even when it's booked poorly, has got good wrestlers in it. You know, there's a lot of good wrestlers in the women's division, and that's what I was trying to convey in my last podcast. When everybody was freaking out, I'm like, am I the only one that is happy with what we see in the women's division compared to 10 years ago? I mean, I think we're heading in the right direction. You know, your issue is with the writers and the bookers and the storylines and what they do, but that's not limited to the women. We have those same issues. The same shit that everybody's been bitching about with the men is going on with the women too. The writers are using the same formulaic rinse and repeat nonsense on every show and every pay-per-view and on every roster. It's what they do. What are the initials WWE stand for? What's the last letter? Entertainment. Not everybody needs to be a 5-star wrestler. You don't need a roster full of Kurt Angles out there. You need all sorts of different shapes and sizes, all different talent and skill level. I'll tell you what, man, these fans today, they would have hated wrestling in the 90s if they had to watch a couple of guys named Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Holy shit. I couldn't even imagine if this type of mentality existed back then. So fucked up. So anyway, at the end of the day, I agree that Brie Bella is a fucking mess. I said so a couple of commentaries ago, even released a mic drop on the same subject. So yeah, I know Brie Bella looks completely fucking lost in there. She's not the only wrestler to ever botch anything. She's not the only one to hurt people. She's not the only one that looks like they don't know what they're doing. Botches happen every day. Every single day in wrestling. It's nothing new. You know why Liv Morgan finished the match after being kicked in the face? Because she's a wrestler, and that's what she's been trained to do, and that's what she's been trained to be prepared for. Sometimes you get kicked in the face. So Brie Bella, I say to you, it would be really cool if you could just be a little bit more careful, and I'm sure she feels terrible. You know, Brie Bella, I think at the end of the day, is a very decent human being. So I seriously doubt that she's like, oh, it's Liv Morgan's fault or whatever. She probably feels terrible and guilty as hell. So that's punishment enough for her to know that she hurt one of her peers. All right, she doesn't need a bunch of idiots shitting on her face. But it's a part of life, and it's what goes on in wrestling. Injuries happen, and Liv Morgan is lucky that it wasn't worse. I'm glad that it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't a botched suplex where you're talking broken necks, broken arms, broken legs. So a little shot to the face, big deal. Wrestlers can shake that off. Look at Cesaro, knocked all his damn teeth out on the ring post and smiled about it when it was over. So I have no doubt that my sister Liv is a tough cookie, and she will be just fine moving forward. So anyway, go nuts in the comments. Can't wait to read all this fucking craziness down there. So have a ball. Tell me how stupid I am and how uninformed, or some douchebag on Twitter a little while ago said that I was tone deaf to the idea. Okay, tone deaf. If tone deaf means I don't automatically pass judgment and act like I got a fucking wrestling school in my backyard, then I guess I'm tone deaf. So anyway, you guys take care, and I will catch you this week for episode 517, unless there's really nothing to talk about. I just might come up here and do another one-off. Not sure yet. Either way, you'll hear me before the weekend. You guys take care. I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.